Okay, now that we know who we're selling to, let's focus in on our product for just a minute. Now, old school selling is all about know the features, know the benefits, know the advantage, right? Feature, benefit, advantage. But in today's market, the consumer is much smarter. Keep this in mind, the consumer is much smarter. Why are they much smarter? Something called the internet, perhaps you've heard of it. See, before the internet, most consumers didn't have a lot of information, which means that you as a salesperson would have to have time to educate them, enlighten them, and at the same time position yourself as an expert on that product. Now in today's market, because of the internet, many consumers are well aware of what you have to offer, but not only what you have to offer, what your competitors also have to offer. So that kind of presents a dilemma. If we just present the features and benefits, well, that's how everybody else is selling. If we just say feature, benefit, advantage, well, that's what everybody else is doing and saying, which means that the consumer will see no difference between you and your competitor. So how do we reposition this? How do we gain the advantage? Well, I want you to write down this acronym, FBI. It does not stand for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It stands for list the features of your product. Got it? List the benefits that each of those features provides. And then for each of those feature benefits, I need you to write down a piece of insight. Now listen carefully because this is important. I use the word insight and I define it as the following. Information beyond the obvious. Now listen to what I just said. It's important. It's information beyond the obvious. That's what insight is. Now, today's consumer doesn't want more information. They want more insight. Information beyond the obvious. Information they can't get anywhere else. Information that's not on the brochure. Information that's not on the box. Information that's not on the website. Information that's not easily obtainable. And see, this is where you come in. This is where the real selling begins. For that feature and benefit that you offer for your product or service, what piece of insight can you give the customer that will shift their paradigm? Listen to what I just said. Shift their paradigm. Make them see it from a different perspective. See, that's what insight is. If I just say, hey, my product does A and B, and this is the benefit to you, well, that's fine. But what I need to do is now provide a piece of insight. Something they don't know. Something they haven't thought about. Something that really goes, I didn't see it that way. That's the customer reaction you want. A new piece of insight will shift their perspective. Maybe it's a new piece of data. Maybe it's a new study that reveals certain things to the customer that they weren't aware of. Maybe this piece of insight lets them know that they can be healthier using your product, but then you show them how. Again, share with them information they've never seen. This is insight. Maybe you're presenting something from such a perspective that the customer's going to say, nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever shared this with me, and I never thought about it that way. See, when you get that type of reaction, you are now selling beyond the features and benefits. You're selling insight. And when you sell through insight, information beyond the obvious, you're positioning yourself as an expert. And guess what? Customers want to buy from people who know their product or service well. So what I need you to do right now is look at your product or service and list out the feature, list out the benefit, and for each feature and benefit, what piece of insight, information beyond the obvious, can you provide your customer to make them go, aha, I see, I never looked at it that way. That's real selling. Take a moment to do that before we go to the next audio in this series.